Experts say the global population will reach 10 billion by 2050, and that means farmers need to produce 50% more food. The problem? Fertilizer is almost maxed out, and available water is running dry. One potential solution is genetic engineering. Take breeding, for example. If you can map crop DNA, you can probably cut down on the number of breeding cycles. Genetic engineering can also help a crop develop more resiliency. And any changes can apply to all crops, like corn and soybeans, but also the orphan crops, like millet, barley, and peas. Big companies and small are getting creative. Bayer, for example, is selling genes that help corn grow in high heat to states up north as the temperature changes. All of this requires technology. Enter AgTech, the hot new investment ticket. $6.7 billion was poured into the sector in the last 5 years, and venture capital deals are increasing. There were 28 globally in the first 10 months of 2018 for companies making sensors and smart farm equipment, and 19 for imagery companies. And hedge funds are also getting in on the action.
I recently caught up with Dwight, and I asked him what his definition of ag tech is.
Any innovation to help improve the economics and productivity of farmer food. For ourselves, we add in the incremental element that it should also be environmentally beneficial. And we don't actually get into the distribution or the end food element. We're purely focused on farming. So we're focused on how do you improve or keep the economics at a minimum for the farmer the same, while also improving the environmental impact.
What do you like with that?
One of the companies which we're structurally involved is a public company that we took control of called MARRONE Bio, which is involved in biologics, which are the products that you can put on organic farms and still have them called organic. And then in addition to that, some private companies. There's a company in Vancouver called TERRAMERA that has a tremendous game plan and product to really be able to lower the intensity of use of synthetic chemicals. So by combining its product with the existing chemicals, you can lower use by 80 or 90%.
What about bees? This is one of my favorite ones.
It's an issue that's commonly talked about in terms of the issues in terms of just the death of the different hives in the colonies. But what we found when we were looking into that problem and its effect also on the economics for farmers, especially sort of tree nuts and berries, is that there had been no real work done in terms of innovation on how does pollination improve productivity and how could you improve that. And one of our partners, named Alan Boyce, who's on the board of Adecco Agro, came to us with a company called BEEFLOW that had been started up by an entrepreneur from Argentina called Matthias Viel. And what it does is it really works on coming up with an improvement to the sort of activity-focused food for bees to improve their activity level and pollination, and is showing really significant results in terms of how much we improve not just the yield, but the quality of the fruit or nuts.
How do you see sort of the chicken and the egg there? Like, do you need companies that are already in good standing, or a farmer that has enough money that they can go and spend on this efficiency, or do they need you to help them fund it because it's really hard to be a farmer? Like, what's the circle?
Well, because we're worried about the overall profitability levels in general of agriculture and farming, we're looking for products that allows the farmer to spend less on inputs. So as opposed to something like a harvester, where Deere is asking you to spend $500,000 to $1 million to get an improvement there, and so even if it gives you productivity, you have to write a huge check up front. What we're trying to do is give you products that allow you to spend the same or less and get cost benefit. So even if you're somewhat cash strapped, you can actually use our products.
How do you find these opportunities?
Generally just is our guys are out there looking all the time, attending every conference, but we've had tremendous success with our partners. The farming companies we started or have partnered with, generally people in farming say, hey, I tried this, I looked at this, and it really looked like it worked well. I'm excited by it. You guys should look at it. And so the majority really of our investments have come from our network, and also some of our partners who've joined the firm, like the former CFO of Monsanto, people from Dow Agro, have got a great network in the ag chem side, and they've brought us deals as well too.
How much of your bet on ag tech like this and sort of really putting a lot of resources behind it, hiring people behind it, has to do with climate change versus just it was an opportunity set to get more efficient in an industry that hasn't been able to, or a combination?
It's focused much more on doing more with less, environmental benefit and economic benefit. To be honest, climate change is something that we worry about because it's going to so change if it happens suddenly, how stuff is grown, where it's grown, the conditions, the water, that we're not 100% positive how that's going to play into the inputs and in terms of our customer base. And so it's a risk to us due to its unknown impact rather than being a catalyst.